Did you know that Gemini can actually watch videos for you? I'm not talking about reading a transcript. I'm talking about visual, frame-by-frame understanding of your video. I'm going to show you an example of this. So I have a video of myself here, and I am holding up a piece of paper. Good afternoon, world. And it says, hello, world, and I say, good afternoon, world. Now, in Google's AI Studio, I'm going to run this prompt where I've uploaded the video. I say, what does the paper say? And what do I say out loud? And it thinks for a little bit, and it says, the paper says, hello world. It captures the 2 exclamation points, and the person says out loud, good afternoon world. So it's able to understand visually and through audio, which is a really powerful capability. This capability is called multimodality. And all it means is Gemini is able to understand video and audio just as well as text. And this capability is really powerful. Now in this video, I want to show you how you can automate workflows with this video capability, because I want to take this and turn it into an automated workflow so you don't have to go and upload the video to Gemini to get a result. All right, now that we know Gemini can do this, let's take this a step further and build an automation that allows you to send a Loom video to Gemini along with a question and get an answer. So this means that you don't have to go to the interface and send your video and get a response. You can actually build an automation that will do this for you. And you could do it something like connect it to your Gmail so that anytime you get a Loom video, you get an automatic notification with a summary of that Loom video, for example. Or you can build a Loom video library of all of the Loom videos you've received. Or you can use every Loom video that you receive turns into an SOP. The sky's the limit. So this template is what I built, and you can use it for free. You can sign up for N8N if you already use it, and you can just go here and use this template. If you click use for free, you can copy the template to your clipboard, or you can import it. So you have lots of different options here. This is an automation tool called N8N. It is an extremely powerful workflow automation tool, similar to Zapier and Make or Integromat, if you've heard of those, but it is a lot cheaper, it is more powerful, and you can self-host it, which is why I use it for most of my automations. So let's take a look at this automation. I'm going to show you how it works from the user perspective and then how it works on the back end so that you know what you need to know to customize it to your use case. So what I'm going to do is take this Loom video and copy the link in here. I built this form with N8N, and then I'm going to ask the same question. What does the paper say in this video? So I'm going to submit that question, and I should get a notification in Slack within a few seconds. So we can take a look at the execution logs to see that running, and it'll run for however many seconds. There it is. At 12 seconds it finished, and then I get a response from Gemini. The paper says, hello world. There it is. And it got the 2 exclamation points as well. So this is the workflow. I'm going to copy this to the editor, and we can actually inspect the entire process, just like in Zapier when you look at your execution history, and we can see how this works. So I'll just talk through each of the steps in this workflow. So in this example, we can take this Loom video and copy it over to this form that I built, and it says Loom video URL, and enter a question about the video. Okay, so what does the paper say and what do I say out loud? We're going to submit this, and it's going to process for a second, and it's going to send us a Slack message with the response. So this is a template that I have published on N8N's template website for free, so you can go and download it right now. I'll put the link in the description below. This video is all about how you can use this workflow and others. Okay, so we got the response. So Loom video response, paper says, hello world, out loud, good afternoon world. Okay, that worked. So in this video, I want to show you how this workflow actually functions so that you can learn how to create your own version of something like this. And I'll give you some ideas of use cases at the end of the video. So if you download the template, you're going to find this in your workflow builder, and the trigger is a form. And the way this works is you just copy the production URL, and you could go to that URL and submit the form to trigger the workflow to run. So I'm going to take a look at the execution that we just watched so that we can see an example of how this works. So we'll load that up. Hit copy to editor. So we've got the video URL here. We check to make sure it's valid, and then we extract the video ID. All we're doing here is extracting this part of the URL. Simple enough. And then we use Loom's internal API to actually get the download URL. So this is something that I discovered just from poking around browser requests, but every Loom video has a publicly accessible API that you can download the transcript and you can download the video as well. So this request to the Loom API requests the transcoded URL, and then we use that in the next step to download the video. Okay, so now we have the video downloaded into the workflow. You've got the file size, you've got the file type, and all of the data that you need. In the next step here, we calculate the file size and we set some attributes of the video, like the name and the MIME type, and then we merge them together. So the reason for a merge here is that you need to have continuity to allow that file to continue down the workflow path. If you were to have this calculate file size step, it would not pass the file along, it would just pass the JSON, and as a result you would basically not be able to access that file later in the workflow. So by combining it with a merge, you're able to get all of those JSON from the previous nodes as well as the actual binary file. Then the next step here is that we upload this, or start an upload session with Gemini. So the way this works is basically you're telling Gemini, hey, I have a file to upload, and you request an upload session. And this is just an API call. You get back a URL that you can use for uploading. So we extract that and then we upload the file. So in this step, we take that upload URL, we make a request to it, and we send an end-to-end binary file. Okay. And then once we've done that, we extract the details from the API response. And then this step is really important. So it takes some time to upload the video, but it also takes time to process after the video has been uploaded. So you need to wait until Gemini actually knows what the video is and has processed it in order to make a request to the API to ask a question about it. So in this loop, what we're doing is waiting 5 seconds, getting the video status with a API call. And once the state is set to active, we go ahead and break out of that loop and move to the next step. So in this step, all we do is call the Gemini API. I've coded it to use Gemini 2.5 Pro. You can put any multi-model for Gemini in here, and that will change the results. Flash is obviously a lot cheaper if you're going to be processing large quantities of video, but I tend to use Pro just because I want the most accuracy out of my prompts. Now what's interesting is in the payload here, all we're sending is a part here with file data. So this is the schema that you use to send a file to Gemini, and all you do is include the URI that you got from uploading that video. So once it's active, you get this URI, and you can reference it in future messages. And you can also use this if you have a conversation back and forth with Gemini and you need to show conversation history. You can keep passing this information and it will keep referencing that video as part of its responses. So we go ahead and send also the question from the user that was submitted in the form. And this is the only text that we send along with the video. And then finally, we have a step here in Slack to send the result to yourself. All right. So you can download this, you can start using it, but how do you customize it and how do you build it into a workflow that's going to really be automated? So you're not just pasting in links and asking questions, but how do you use this as part of a larger system? So some ideas for you on how you can use this workflow is, what if you take every single email that you receive that has a Loom video URL in it, and you process that and you send yourself a notification, or you send yourself another email with a summary of that video. This can be really helpful if you get a lot of Loom videos and people don't tend to write down a summary of it, and you can decide on your own terms whether you actually want to watch that video in full or if you want to just get a summary. What you can also do is ask it to give you some timestamps. So you could say, give me a summary of the content of this video, all the different topics, along with timestamps for each topic. That way you know where to skip to if you only want to watch part of that video. The thing with video is it's a very information dense way to send information to each other, and it can be a very helpful medium, but the downside is it takes time to consume, and sometimes looking at a text summary of the video is a lot faster in some cases where it really doesn't matter what's shown on screen. So it's kind of up to you whether you want to watch the full video. If you want to do something like that, all you need to do is add a step like Gmail on message received, add a trigger here, and then you would have a step here to filter and see if there is a Loom URL within the text. So you would have some regex that you build to basically look for this format of a URL. And if so, it'll move to the next step and do all of this and then send you that notification, or you can change it to a Gmail node to send you an email notification. Another idea is making a video library of all Loom videos that you receive. So instead of losing them in your inbox, you can create a database of all Loom videos you've ever received, along with a summary of those videos. And maybe you receive a lot of instruction videos that you can use to reference in the future and train employees. Those can become SOPs. So what if we took every video that we received, had a prompt to ask whether it is an instructional video, and if it is, then you can store it in your SOP database, the video along with the summary and the SOP that's automatically generated by Gemini. So there's lots of things that you can do with this. The sky's the limit. And obviously you don't have to stop with Loom. You could use this to download a recording from every Zoom meeting that you have and use that to analyze the meeting recording. And the reason that's really helpful is most meeting recording tools only listen to the audio. But if you're doing a screen share in a meeting, a lot of that information is getting lost. So by using video, you're not only capturing the audio and what is said, but also the emotions of the people on the call and the content of a screen share. And you can actually use this to, for example, if someone shows a process through video and doesn't really narrate that well, Gemini can actually understand the process visually in addition to what is said and piece together a more complete picture. I hope this video helps you out. You can comment below with your ideas for how you can use this concept. I'd be really curious to hear what you make with this. And if you're interested in learning about how to use automation and AI to make a more solid and automated business, I'm going to be making more content like this once a week, covering topics like automated workflows like this, creating custom apps for your business, as well as general advice for using technology to improve your business. Thanks for watching this video and see you on the next one.